Welcome to our channel Minutes audiobook. Today we diving into Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk, book. Please subscribe for daily videos. Introduction to Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. Fight Club is a novel by Chuck Palahniuk, first published in 1996. It is a dark, gritty exploration of identity, consumerism, mental health, and the consequences of modern masculinity. The novel, which was adapted into a film in 1999, has since become a cult classic, known for its thought-provoking themes, its bold critique of contemporary society, and its unforgettable twist ending. Set in an unnamed American city, Fight Club follows the journey of an unnamed narrator who is deeply disillusioned with the monotony of his corporate job and the hollow, consumer-driven lifestyle he leads. The narrator suffers from severe insomnia, which leads him to attend support groups for various ailments in search of relief. His world changes when he meets Tyler Durden, a charismatic and anarchistic soap salesman with radical views about modern life. The novel centers around the creation of Fight Club, an underground club where men gather to physically fight one another as a form of release and self-empowerment. Fight Club becomes a form of rebellion against the emasculating pressures of society, which the men believe have reduced them to mere consumers rather than independent individuals. As the club grows, it evolves into something more dangerous and radical, developing into Project Mayhem, a larger anarchistic movement that aims to upend society as a whole. At its core, Fight Club is about the search for identity and meaning in a world that seems increasingly empty and superficial. The novel grapples with the psychological complexities of the narrator's life, questioning the values of materialism, the meaning of masculinity, and the human desire for control and purpose. Throughout the narrative, the reader is forced to confront questions about the nature of personal freedom, self-destruction, and the lengths to which one can go to break free from societal constraints. One of the key themes in the novel is the destructive impact of consumer culture, which the narrator feels has stripped him of his true identity. His possessions, the advertisements he sees, and the empty promises of consumerism contribute to his sense of alienation and dissatisfaction. The meeting with Tyler Durden, who embodies a philosophy of rejecting society's norms, sets the stage for the novel's exploration of rebellion and self-destruction as the narrator seeks to reclaim his sense of masculinity and individuality. Palahniuk's writing style in Fight Club is stark and unflinching, filled with short, sharp sentences that mirror the chaotic, fragmented nature of the narrator's mind. The novel is filled with dark humor, violent imagery, and biting social commentary, which challenges the reader to consider the consequences of blindly following societal expectations and the lengths to which individuals may go to find freedom and purpose. One of the most shocking and iconic aspects of Fight Club is its twist ending, which fundamentally changes the way readers perceive the entire story. As the narrator becomes increasingly obsessed with Tyler, he discovers a truth about himself that forces him to confront his own mental state, and the impact of his destructive desires. Chapter 1. The narrator, the unnamed protagonist, introduces himself as an insomniac who attends support groups for various conditions to cure his inability to sleep. He uses these groups to experience pain and thus feel alive again. He describes his life as empty and defined by consumerism, where his most important possession is his apartment, filled with IKEA furniture. The narrator is trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction with his life, working a dull office job in order to afford the lifestyle he feels compelled to maintain. Chapter 2. The narrator is introduced to Tyler Durden, a charismatic, anarchistic figure. Tyler is a soap salesman with radical beliefs who speaks against the materialism and monotony of modern life. The narrator meets Tyler on a business trip when their plane crashes. Both men survive, and from there, they begin a friendship that changes the narrator's life forever. Chapter 3. Tyler's unconventional ideas about society and freedom begin to influence the narrator. They start talking about how society is built on lies and consumer culture, and Tyler proposes that they create something new, a way to live without the constraints of materialism. This leads to the birth of Fight Club, an underground boxing club where men beat each other senseless as a means to feel alive and escape their own self-loathing. Chapter 4. Fight Club grows in popularity, attracting more participants. The idea becomes addictive, and the narrator, who initially saw Fight Club as a way to regain control over his life, begins to lose himself in it. Tyler's influence over the group grows as well, and they develop a cult-like following. The narrator starts to feel uneasy about the escalating violence and the group's increasingly destructive activities, but he can't stop himself from participating. Chapter 5. Tyler's philosophy deepens. He begins organizing Project Mayhem, a series of increasingly extreme, anarchistic acts aimed at dismantling society. As the project escalates, Tyler grows more distant from the narrator. Tyler's plans begin to spiral out of control, and the narrator feels increasingly trapped, unable to back out of the chaos they've created. Chapter 6. The narrator's relationship with Marla Singer, a woman he meets in the support groups, becomes more complex. Tyler and Marla have a strange, intense relationship that causes further confusion for the narrator. He begins to suspect that Tyler and Marla are involved in a romantic way, which only deepens his growing discomfort with Tyler and the direction of Fight Club. Chapter 7. Tyler's behavior becomes more erratic and dangerous. He seems to be losing touch with any semblance of morality. The narrator, in turn, becomes increasingly disturbed by Tyler's actions, but he's powerless to stop them. The group's activities become more reckless, including dangerous pranks and vandalism, but Tyler's energy and charisma continue to draw people in. Chapter 8. The narrator begins to struggle with his sense of identity. He tries to pull away from Tyler, but Tyler seems to be everywhere, invading his thoughts, his actions, and even his dreams. As Tyler's influence grows, the narrator's mental state deteriorates. The line between reality and delusion starts to blur, and he begins questioning everything, including his own sanity. Chapter 9. Tyler's ultimate plans come to light. He has been planning a massive act of terrorism, the destruction of credit card companies' records, which will erase personal debt and free people from financial enslavement. The narrator realizes that Tyler's plan is not only extreme but deeply dangerous. At this point, the narrator begins to understand that his obsession with Tyler has led him to a dangerous place where he feels he can't escape from the chaos he's helped create. Chapter 10. The narrator's realization about Tyler is shocking. Tyler Durden is not real. The narrator has been hallucinating Tyler as an alter ego, a manifestation of his repressed desires and frustrations. Tyler represents everything the narrator wanted to be but feared becoming: powerful, free, destructive, and able to live outside of society's rules. This revelation is a turning point in the story, as the narrator tries to undo the damage Tyler has caused. Chapter 11. The narrator attempts to stop Project Mayhem and prevent Tyler's final, catastrophic plan from coming to fruition. However, he is still grappling with his dual identity and the consequences of his actions. The line between the narrator and Tyler is blurred, and the narrator begins to question whether he is capable of stopping the destruction that has been set in motion. Chapter 12. In the final chapter, the narrator confronts the full consequences of his actions. He understands that he must take responsibility for what Tyler has done and stop Project Mayhem before it destroys everything. In a final confrontation, the narrator succeeds in disrupting Tyler's plan. He ultimately comes to terms with the fact that the only way to escape Tyler's influence is to destroy the part of himself that Tyler represents. The book ends with the narrator feeling uncertain about his future but hopeful that he has taken the first steps toward reclaiming control over his life. Conclusion. In Fight Club, Chuck Palahniuk delves into the complexities of identity, mental health, consumerism, and masculinity. The novel's exploration of the destructive search for freedom and self-empowerment in a world dominated by materialism provides a powerful critique of contemporary society. Through the eyes of the narrator, readers are forced to examine their own desires, disillusionments, and the consequences of living in a world that places greater value on possessions than on the human spirit. Palahniuk's stark, visceral writing style, combined with the novel's dark humor and shocking twists, has cemented Fight Club as a modern literary classic. It challenges the reader to think critically about the choices they make, the culture they inhabit, and the nature of rebellion in a world that is increasingly governed by consumerism and conformity. Thank you for watching. Keep support for daily videos. Make sure like, comment and share. Don't forget to subscribe our channel Minutes Audiobook. See you on the next video.